Hello and good morning to all my students and welcome to our English class. Children, today we are going to study English grammar chapter the sentence of class 3rd. Children, before starting, let us look at the following group of words and try to read. First is sweet mangoes and second is like sweet mangoes. Third, like I sweet mangoes. And the fourth one is I like sweet mangoes. Now children, have you noticed that these group of words, first three group of words, first, two, second and third, first three group of words do not make any complete sense. Only the last group of word, that is I like sweet mangoes, make a complete sense. So they are sentences. A sentence, so what we came to know, a sentence is a group of words that make a complete sense. So children, now what is a sentence? A sentence is a group of words that makes a complete sense. Means any group of words, whether they are 2, 3 और 4, चाहे वो वर्ड्स का ग्रुप जो है, चाहे उस ग्रुप ऑफ वर्ड में 2 वर्ड हैं, 3 वर्ड हैं, 4 वर्ड हैं, 5 वर्ड हैं, दे विल बी कॉल्ड सेंटेंस ओनली व्हेन दे मेक अ कंप्लीट सेंस. वो सेंटेंस तभी कहलाएंगे जब उनको रीड करने के बाद या लिखने के बाद उनकी कोई सेंस बनती हो, कोई मतलब निकलता हो. ओनली देन दोज ग्रुप ऑफ वर्ड्स आर कॉल्ड अ सेंटेंस. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, neatly Rohan writes. This is not a sentence. Why this is not a sentence? Because these group of words, neatly Rohan writes, these are the group of words. These group of words do not make any complete sense. That's why they are not a sentence. Now look here. Rohan writes neatly. Yes, if we rearrange these group of words, then the sentence will be Rohan writes neatly, which is a sentence, because after rearranging these group of words, these group of words are making a complete sense. That's why these group of words are a sentence. Now come to next example. Book open your. These group of words do not make a complete sense, so they are not a sentence. Now look at another example. If we rearrange these group of words, then what happens? Open your book. After rearranging these group of words, we get following group of words. And what are those group of words? Open your book, which these group of words make a complete sense. That's why they are sentences. So children, what we came to know about a sentence, that what is a sentence? A sentence is a group of words that make a complete sense. Any group of word is called sentence only if it make a sense. Always remember, children, that a sentence always begins with a capital letter. Always keep in mind that any sentence begins with a capital letter. Always first letter should be capital. For example, my friend is a great painter. These are the group of words, and these group of words are making a complete sense. So these group of words are sentence. But keep in mind while writing these group of word as a sentence, that first sentence or a sentence, always first letter of a sentence should always begin with a capital letter. Then the train is late. Again, this is a sentence, and before writing a sentence, first letter should be capital. As you can see in this example, T it is in capital form and M is in capital form. Then always remember that a sentence, if a sentence ends with a full stop or a question mark. If a sentence says something, it ends with a full stop. For example, the sun rises in the east. The sun rises in the east. This sentence is telling us something. What? That a sun always rises in the east. That's why this sentence ends with a full stop. Then if a sentence asks a question, it ends with a question mark. For example, who teaches you English? Who teaches you English? In this example, the sentence asks a question. That's why this sentence ends with a question mark. So children, you have to keep in mind while writing a sentence that a sentence always begin with a capital letter. Then a sentence ends with a full stop or a question mark or an exclamatory mark. Now look at the following group of words. Look at the following group of words and say yes if it is a sentence and no if it is not a sentence. For example, the first example is he sweet. These group of words do not make any complete sense. That's why these group of words are not sentence. So we will write no, because they are not making a complete sense, which means they are not a sentence. Now come to second example, a nice book. Again, these group of words do not make a complete sense, so they are not a sentence. So we will write down no. Then come to third example, Sia is my best friend. These group of words make a complete sense, so they are sentences. So we will write down here yes. Then come to the fourth one, they were playing in the park. Again, these group of words make a complete sense, so they are sentences. So we will write down yes, it is a sentence. So what we learned from our previous slides, that a sentence is a group of words that makes a complete sense. Then read the following group of words and rearrange the following words to make proper sentence using a full stop or a question mark. Means you have to rearrange these sentences to make a proper sentence, and then by using full stop or a question mark. So look at the first group of word, rose, the, a, flower, beautiful is. These group of words do not make a complete sense. So these are not sentences, but we can rearrange them to make a sentence. So we will arrange them. Notice how the words in each sentences are arranged. The rose is a beautiful flower. After rearranging the group of words, we get the following sentence, and that is, the rose is a beautiful flower. Now it is making a complete sense, and now this is a sentence. We have rearranged the following group of words by using the first letter of the sentence should be capital, so T will be in capital form, and a sentence always ends with a full stop or a question mark. This sentence is telling us something. That something means what kind of rose flower is beautiful flower. It means this, and it is telling us something about rose flower. So this sentence ends with full stop. Now read the following group of words. Going is Naman the school to. Going is Naman the school to. These group of words do not make a sense, so they are not sentences. So we will rearrange the following words to make a proper sentence. And now the proper sentence is, Naman is going to the school. Naman is going to the school. Naman. The first letter of this sentence is Naman. First word, sorry. And the first letter, so we will always, as we have already studied, that always begin the word with a capital letter. So the first letter of Naman will be in capital form, and this sentence is telling us something about Naman, that where is he going. He is going to the school. So this sentence is telling us something about Naman, so we will put a full stop at the end of the sentence. Now read the read this group of words. You too would have like coffee. You too would have like coffee. Now these group of words do not make a sense, so these are not sentences, but we can rearrange the following words to make a proper sentence. And after rearranging the following group of words, the proper sentence is, would you like to have a coffee? Would you like to have a coffee? First letter should be capital while writing a sentence. First letter should be capital, so we will write W in capital form. Now this sentence is asking a question. That is why we will put a question mark at the end of the sentence. So children, what we learnt, that a sentence is a group of words that make a complete sense, and a sentence always begin with a capital letter and ends with a full stop or a question mark or an exclamatory mark. If a group of word, or if a sentence is telling us something, then that sentence ends with a full stop. And if a sentence is asking a question, then that sentence will end with a question mark. Now look at the fourth example. Glass a Rahul milk had of. These group of words do not make a sense, so these are not sentences, but we can make a proper sentence of these group of words by rearranging. So the proper sentence will be, glass a Rashi milk had of. So the proper sentence will be, Rashi had a glass of milk. Now this is a proper sentence. a complete sentence or any sentence always begin with a capital letter, so R will be in capital form, and this sentence is telling us something about Rashi, so this sentence ends with a full stop. Now read this group of words: me lends a please pencil. These group of words do not make a sense, so these are not sentences, but we can rearrange them to make a sentence. Notice how the words in each sentence are changed. Please lend me a pencil. Now this is a complete sentence which is making a sense. First letter of this sentence always begin with a sentence always begin with a capital letter, so we will write P in capital form, and as this sentence is telling us something about the pencil, so we will put a full stop at the end of the sentence. Now we will read these group of words: toys, many, you, do, have, how. These group of words do not make a sentence, so these are not sentences, but we can rearrange them to make a sentence. And the proper sentence will be: how many toys do you have? Now this sentence begins with capital letter, so we will write H in capital form. Now this sentence is asking a question. Now asking a question, how many toys means number of toys, so we will put a question mark at the end of the sentence. Then read these group of words: grand is the Taj Mahal monument. Again these group of words do not make a complete sense, so these are not sentences, but we can rearrange them to make a sentence. And now the sentence will be: the Taj Mahal is a grand monument. Now this is a complete sentence, so this sentence begins with a capital letter, so we will write down T in capital form, and as this sentence is telling us something, so we will end this sentence with a full stop. Now children, we studied that a punctuation marks regulate and clarify the meanings of different texts and make them easier to understand. Following are the punctuation marks: full stop, comma, question mark, exclamation mark. This is the sign of exclamation. All these punctuation marks make the different texts easier to understand. For example, I like to eat apples. I like to eat apples. So this sentence is telling us something, so this sentence ends with a full stop. Now look at another example. The pet store has cats, dogs, hamsters, fish and turtles. Again this is a complete sentence and telling us something about pet store, so this sentence ends with a full stop and begins with a capital letter. And the third example is: when will you arrive? As we have already studied that a sentence always begin with a capital letter, so and this sentence is asking a question, so this sentence ends with a question mark. Then I am really going to miss this place. This is a complete sentence, and this sentence begins with a capital letter and ends with exclamatory mark. Now, there are three types of sentences, and the first one is statements, second is questions, and third is exclamatory sentences. First is statements. Means when a sentence tells us something, it is called a statement, and a statement sentence always ends with a full stop. For example, Tony goes to the beach every Sunday. This is a simple sentence, statement sentence, and this sentence is telling us something. So this sentence ends with a full stop. The girl is reading a book. Again, this sentence is telling us something about the girl, that what is she doing. That's why this sentence ends with a full stop. Both these sentences start with a capital letter and end with a full stop. Then questions, we are studying the second type of sentence, that is questions. When a sentence asks something, it is called a question, and a question always ends with a question mark. Exclamatory sentences, a sentence that expresses a sudden feeling of joy, sorrow, surprise, anger, etc. is called an exclamatory sentence. Means after reading a sentence, if you find that this sentence is telling us about the feeling of joy, about the feeling of sorrow, or this sentence is telling us about the feeling of anger, surprise, it means that sentence is a exclamatory sentence, and such type of sentences ends with a exclamation mark. For example, which school do you go to? Which school do you go to? Where are you going with your parents? So following two examples tells us about question. After reading these two sentences, we find out that these sentences are asking something or asking a question. That's why both these two sentences ends with a question mark, which means this is a question type of sentence. Then exclamatory sentence, as we have studied, that a sentence that expresses a sudden feeling of joy, anger, sorrow, surprise is an exclamatory mark, and an exclamatory sentence always ends with a sign of exclamation mark. For example, how beautiful this city is. How beautiful this city is. In this, and after reading this sentence, it means whoever is saying this sentence, he is in the feeling of surprise that how beautiful this city is. Then you did a great job. Both these sentence ends with a exclamation mark. Children, now complete the following sentences by using full stop, question mark, or an exclamation mark. And the first sentence is, I am a student. As this sentence is telling us something, so we will put here full stop. Then second one is, who are you? Who are you? This sentence is asking you a question. That is why we will put here a question mark. Then, wow, you look beautiful in this dress. This sentence is telling us the feeling of surprise. That's why we will put here the sign of exclamation. The fourth one is, she is my sister. This sentence is telling us something. That is why we put here a full stop. Then, how are you? This sentence is asking a question. That is why this sentence ends with question mark. Ouch, I have hurt myself. Ouch. Wow, these are the sign of exclamation. That is why we will put here the sign of exclamation, and then I have hurt myself, and here we will put a full stop. So children, I hope now you have really understood about the sentences and then type of the sentences. Now let us take a quick revision about the sentences. That what is a sentence? A sentence is a group of words that make a complete sense. And always remember that a sentence begins with a capital letter and ends with a full stop, question mark, or an exclamatory mark. Then there are three types of sentences. First is statements, second is questions, and third is exclamatory sentences. First, statements. These type of if any sentence tells us something, which means that sentence is a statement sentence, and such type of sentences always begins with a capital letter and ends with full stop. And then if any sentence asks questions, which means that such type of sentences are questions, and such type of sentences always begin with a capital letter and ends with a question mark. Then third type of sentence is exclamatory sentences. Exclamatory sentences are those sentences which shows us or which tells